Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Drama Flavored Coffee. This post comes from the subreddit Relationship Advice, posted by ThrowRatty8228. My 10 years younger sister is trying to seduce my husband, and I'm freaking out. My 30 female sister, 20 female, has started college in the city my husband, 28 male, and I live in. There's a housing shortage here, and getting your own place may take 2 to 3 years sometimes. So she's moved in with us. We live in a 4 bedroom apartment. She moved in last week in November. Everything was great at first. Later, I started noticing that she's very affectionate with my husband. When he works from home, she is home that day, making him sandwiches, coffee, etc. She never uses the shower in her room because it's too small. Instead, she uses the bigger one in the hall so she can walk around in a towel. Sometimes going into the kitchen to make tea when my husband is tidying up after dinner. She stands there in the towel chit chatting. It feels so weird and perverted, to be honest. I mean, she's my baby sister. I thought maybe I'm overreacting because I seem to be the only one noticing anything weird. I have spoken to my mom about it, but she says it's in my head because my husband loves me and my sister loves me, and I'm just feeling insecure because I'm pregnant and have gained weight. I'm having a difficult pregnancy, so yesterday I took a day off and stayed in bed. My husband was working from home. My sister didn't know I was home. She came home from the gym and she had brought lunch with her. She called my husband to join her, and I heard her loudly saying, "I bet you wish you had a wife who took care of you like this." I went to the kitchen, and she was in her sports bra and very small, tight shorts. She was like, "Oh, I didn't know you were here," and she took her lunch and went to her room. I don't know what to do about this situation. I mentioned this once to her about her walking around in a towel, but she laughed it off, saying that I was imagining things because I'm insecure. If I kicked her out, it would mean that she can't continue with her studies this year because my parents live 5 hours away. I'm not worried about my husband, but I think what she's doing is disrespectful, and for it to continue 1, maybe 2 years is honestly exhausting. What the fuck is wrong with her? She used to be my baby girl. Okay, so OP posted an update, so I'm going to read that and then I'll get to my opinion. Since my mother and sister dismissed me, I talked to my husband. He told me that he has noticed my sister acting weird around him. He was, however, very uncomfortable talking to me about it since it was my idea that she should live with us. I might think he's making things up to kick my sister out. He said the days he's been working from home, she's been almost always home, walking around in her underwear or tiny gym wearings. He asked her on a number of occasions to put some more clothes on. She laughed and asked if he's not used to being around confident women. She also always talked me down in front of him and commented things like my bad posture or my old age or I wonder if she'll be able to lose her baby weight. I was appalled. What the fuck is wrong with my sister? I have never had problems with her, and I always took care of her growing up. I decided that she must leave. I have been trying to find a place for her in the city, and I know one of my colleagues' grandmother rents rooms for students. She lives near campus, so it will be perfect for her. I didn't want to break the news myself to her because by now I know what she would say, that I'm so jealous and threatened by her. So I asked my husband to talk to her. Apparently, she broke down crying, asking him if I put him up to this. He told her that this was his apartment as much as it's mine, and he's not comfortable having her around. He told her about the new arrangement we've made, but if she didn't like it, she was welcome to find a place on her own or move back home. She's getting until the end of the month. Today, she was so angry with me. She told me that if my husband really loved me, I wouldn't have felt so threatened by her. She was also mad because she'll have to pay rent and live in a smaller room. I don't know, I feel sorry for her, but I'm honestly shocked at how callous she is. When did this happen? Only yesterday, she was my baby who waited for me to come home on holidays to try my new clothes and makeup. Now she's shut in her room, only speaking to me to call me pathetic and insecure. I'm so miserable right now. Okay, personal opinion here. Your sister sounds nuts, and I think you did the right thing by telling her she had to leave. You've you've brought it up to her, and your husband have brought it up to her about her inappropriate behavior, and she just dismissed you. She's calling you insecure, but I really think she's the one who's insecure and pathetic because she's trying to get attention from your husband. I don't know, it always boggles my mind when I hear stories like this about women trying to steal other women's men. Um, and it makes it worse that she's your sister. Out of all people, why would you do that to your own family? She was definitely doing it on purpose. There's no way that this was innocent because let's say hypothetically it was innocent, and if I were in her situation and someone said to me, "Hey, you're being inappropriate in front of my husband," I would be mortified. But that's definitely not the case here. She was calling you old. She was saying that you were insecure and pathetic. That's not what a sister is supposed to say. It's not how a sister is supposed to act. I think maybe there's something wrong with her psychologically and she needs some serious help because this is not normal behavior. So now let's go to the comments. Snoo Words 4839 says, "It needed to be done. She was inappropriate and taking advantage of the situation. Parading around scantily dressed and making comments against you to your husband caused this, not you or hubby. She can cry all she wants. She brought this on herself. Don't let her talk to you like that. Remind her it's your home and your husband. You tried to help her out and she crossed the line trying to seduce your husband. He wasn't interested and she needs to move. You are not jealous or insecure. She is a bitch thinking what she did is okay. She has grown into a person no one will want in their home. Her actions demand a response, and she got hers. Good for you and hubby." Blade 982 says, "Well done for presenting a united front and doing what needed to be done. She's lucky to be getting till the end of the month with the way she's behaving and has behaved. I would have sent her home until she could move. Her education is not your problem, and if she missed uni for 3 weeks, so be it. Better than calling you pathetic whilst living in your home for free. She sounds completely unhinged, and I'd be worried she might make false accusations against your husband or you. She doesn't seem above getting petty revenge. You should really reconsider having her in your home. She's not the baby sister you knew and loved. If you're determined to house her, I would impose strict house rules. No going into your husband's office, no parading around in clothing that makes you and your husband uncomfortable, no mean, ugly comments. And if she breaks the rules, you can have your mother pick her up." Yeah, I agree. The sister sounds really crazy, and you're pregnant. You should be enjoying your pregnancy. You shouldn't have to deal with this. I think she needs to go ASAP. She's not a kid anymore. And I understand she is your little sister and you do love her, but she's an adult. She is being treated like an adult. Her actions have consequences. It sounds like she's used to getting her way, and now that she's not, she's throwing a huge tantrum. Now, I don't want to say kudos to your husband for, sticking up for you and standing by you, because that is the bare minimum, and we don't reward the bare minimum. But I'm glad that you have the support that you need from him, because that's important right now. This story comes from the subreddit Relationship Advice, posted by Jar Jar Pinks. He, 25 male, says I, 23 female, ruined his life by telling his family he set me up. So I, 23 female, started talking to an old friend, Mike, 25 male, who I knew from school. We hang out a couple times and keep things casual. On Saturday, we make plans to go out to eat, and he tells me he's on his way, so I get ready. Hours go by, and I try calling, but he doesn't answer, so I assume he ghosted me. It's around 10 p.m. when he finally calls back. He apologizes, saying he got caught up in some family drama, and he's still home. He asks me if I want to stop by his house instead, and we hang out for a little bit. I agree to go. I Uber over, and he's waiting outside. He ends up telling me that we can't go inside because family is there and there's still drama going on. I ask him what we are doing, and he says his friend lives close and we can hang there with him and his girlfriend. Well, we get there and his girlfriend is not there. I mention it to Mike, and he asks his friend, and he says she backed out. His friend ends up pouring drinks and we start drinking. A little bit later, Mike randomly says he has to make a phone call and leaves. Confused, I sit there and his friend keeps staring at me while texting. Eventually, Mike returns, but something's off. He didn't want to sit down and he kept checking his phone. I asked him if he's ready to go, and he says that he has to do something and he'll be back. I tell him if he's leaving, then I am too, and he begs me to stay and says he'll be quick, it's a family thing. I say okay, and a little after he leaves, his friend sits next to me and starts flirting. He keeps offering me drinks and starts asking creepy questions, so I tell him I'm leaving. He starts yelling at me, saying it's still early and Mike asked me to stay and wait. He keeps going, saying I'm being stupid and I should stop being dramatic. I get up to leave and he jumps up and blocks the door. He keeps begging me to stay and won't move, so I try to push him out of the way, but he grabs me by my wrists and pushes me, causing me to fall backwards. He then tries to get on top of me, but I kick him and run towards the door. He grabs my clothes, trying to pull me back, but I manage to break free. He follows me outside, cursing me out, and says, "Why would you tell Mike you're down if you're not?" That's when I realized I was set up. I call Mike and his sister picks up. I ask her where Mike is, and she says he's at McDonald's getting them food. I say, "What do you mean? He was supposed to be there," and mention what he told me, and she pretty much tells me he's lying. And there was no drama. I explain what happened at his friend's, and she gets extremely pissed and says she's going to talk to him. A day later, I get a text from him saying I ruined his life and got him kicked out of the house. He claimed he didn't set me up, and I was drunk and lied about everything. I ended up blocking him. Now I'm thinking about everything, and I can't help but feel bad that I escalated the situation to the point where he might be homeless. Should I apologize? Okay, personal opinion here. You should not apologize. He definitely set you up. He set you up to be sexually assaulted. I think you need to file a police report on him and his friend. It's obvious that the both of them planned this, and there needs to be a documented report in case they've either tried this in the past or try it again in the future. Okay, so let's go to the comments. Dry Cheetah 9082 says, he set you up to be raped by his friend? No, hun. No, this is not your fault at all. He sounds dangerous and you should report him and his friend to the police. You could also get some counseling to help you process this. You were a victim and might need some support. Alan WH says, should you apologize? No, you should not. You should make sure you tell every single person you know what happened, particularly if they know either of the guys involved. This is verging on informing the police territory, not should I apologize. You've done nothing at all wrong, and you're very lucky two rapey fuckboys didn't take things up just one notch. Lee1419 says, you need to think long and hard about what happened because you don't seem to understand the gravity. Mike took you and left you at a strange man's house, having told said man you were open to sex. This man set up you being raped. He lied to you, lied to his friend, who is also shitty, and you should press charges against for this assault because any decent man would have backed off the second it was apparent you weren't interested, and better hope you don't have a way to sue him as an accomplice to attempted rape. Yeah, this definitely needs to be reported. There's no gray area here. You were set up. You were set up by Mike and probably this friend. I don't think he didn't know what was going on. He definitely knew. And even if he didn't know, you gave him all the signs that you weren't interested. He should have read the room and backed off the moment that you rejected him. And if Mike ends up being homeless, then he's just dealing with the consequences of his own actions. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Drama Flavored Coffee. If you like this video, please drop a like and subscribe to my channel for new content. See you guys next time.